This sweet is one of my favorite dishes. Welcome everyone, I'm Lo and this is To Feed a Mockingbird. Yeah, today I've only got one cam. I'm in a bit of a hurry, I couldn't get the other because I wanted to surprise my best friend for his birthday. So let's get started. It's an Egyptian bread pudding called Ali, but more about that later because right now my friend told me that he's gonna come at my place right now instead of this evening. So I gotta hurry. You'll need just a baking tray, an oven, a pot, and as for the ingredients you'll need dried Arabic flatbread. This is a bread that I made myself. This is Aish Asuri. You'll need some raisins, some roughly ground pistachios. Oh man, I yet have to grind them. I'll do it right now with no problem with a knife. Then some sliced almonds, whole milk, cinnamon, clover honey, and extra virgin olive oil. Let's get started. We're gonna cook milk with the cinnamon and the honey inside it until it boils. In the meantime, I'm gonna take the baking tray, put a bit of olive oil in it and spread it around, then put the bread in it and spread it around, and on top of it all the dried fruit, so raisins, almonds and pistachios, and spread them around on top of the bread. By the way, I have no idea if I'll have time to tell you this afterwards, since I'm in a bit of a hurry. When it's ready, you eat it with your bare right hand, since it's an Egyptian dish. Now we're just gonna wait for the milk to boil and put it on top of all of this. Okay, so you can't see it, but right now the milk is boiling. You should take your time with medium heat and put the milk on top of this, as you can see. Now we just have to wait for it to cool down for 5 minutes. Now 5 minutes have passed. We're just gonna take the minor quantity of milk and put it on top of it, cold as it is. And now we're just gonna take the baking tray, put it in an oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. And then we'll be done. So, here you have your final result. And I can't eat it right now because I'm waiting for my friend, who should be here at any minute. So we'll see you in the historical and cultural part, which I'll record later on. I really hope that you enjoyed this recipe. It's so simple, it's so fast. It's so fast that I was able to prepare it 4 hours earlier on my schedule. Really sorry for just one camera, but I don't have two cameras. One is mine and the other is of a friend of mine, and she lends it to me when I record these videos. So yeah, hope you enjoy this and we'll see you later. So now that there's no hurry, I can finally tell you two stories. Stories of how this dish was born. So, first of all, we are in medieval Egypt around the 13th century, and you must know that the Ayyubid dynasty is coming to an end with the 7th Crusade, and As-Salih Ayyub is deciding the fate of Egypt as a sultan. But the sultan dies. His wife, Shajar ad-Dur, decides to keep this a secret, and with the help of some of the court Mamluks, in particular the Emir, she wins the crusade. Now she claims the title of Sultan, but the news is not accepted by Baghdad and by the Syrians, and so she decides to abdicate, and the Mamluk Emir, Is al-Din Aybak, takes her place after, I think, maybe 2 or 3 months as the new Sultan. And he, even though he's not that accepted by all the other Arabs because he's a Mamluk and this is the first Mamluk reign, Mamluks detain that kind of power decreasingly up until 19th century. So for 7 years, Izz-al-Din Aybak reigns over Egypt. But then when things start worsening, he decides to marry the daughter of the Emir of Mosul to gain an alliance against some of the other Mamluks that decided to flee and rebel. And that's when Shajar ad-Dur becomes so jealous that she decides to kill her husband, which she does. But then again, he was a Mamluk, nonetheless a sultan. So, at the beginning, her son, Al-Mansur Ali, takes the power as sultan, and to celebrate, Shajar creates this dish called Ali, which literally translates to Mother of Ali. And now you know why. In Arabic tradition, you must know, they have something like reverse patronymic that indicates who your mother and father to, not only who your son or daughter to. I don't know if it's a traditional thing nowadays not used or if it's still being used, but that's where the name comes from. And if you want to know how the story ended, they just found out about the murder and they threw Shajar off the citadel. And nowadays I think that even though at the beginning they weren't allowed to take her body and bury her, I think that now in Egypt you can still find a mausoleum in which she should be buried. But now let's talk about an ingredient, which is coconut. If you want, in this recipe you can grate a bit of coconut on top of the bread pudding. So why didn't I decide to do it? You must know that in medieval Egypt coconut was available, but only to rich people. And so what's the problem? I mean, a sultan, even if a Mamluk, definitely had access to something like coconut, which usually came from Southeast Asia, like Sri Lanka, even though at the time wasn't called Sri Lanka, but you get my point, you know? But then again, there's another story, obviously less accredited one, but I just wanted to make a variety of this recipe that could fit with both narratives. And the other legend, which some people prefer because it's more romantic, I like a bit of thrill and action in my stories, especially if they're historically supported. Anyways, the other story is that there was a sultan around the desert with his caravan and he stopped by a village. That village all came together to greet the sultan, but it was such a poor village that they didn't know what to do. So they decided to go to a woman, obviously, you know, was the mother of some Ali, and so, you know, she is mother of Ali, the dish is called, you know, mother of Ali, is mother, and Ali, obviously, it's Ali, so you can definitely see where this is going. She had such poor ingredients that she didn't know what to do. She had just some dried fruits, some spices, and a bit of dried bread, but she combined them so well that the Sultan decided to marry her. And so in this narrative, she obviously, at least in the first version of this dish, couldn't have access to anything like coconut. But if you want to grate a bit on top of it, you just can say that you're following the most historical version of this story. So I hope that you enjoy this dish. Now I can talk so freely, but even so, it's probably the second simplest dish that I've ever cooked, you know? If you have some flatbread available, so fast to cook. Thanks for watching, bon appétit, ma salama, and we'll see you next time.